Councilmember Jimmy Clanton.
Here.
Councilmember Rob Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Jasmine Cobble. Councilmember George Turner. Councilmember.
Here.
Fast.
Go ahead. I'll bring it up after.
Councilmember Tammy Grimes. Mayor Jason Leary.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Have a quorum.
Yes, sir.
We are now a commission, right? And we are
Yes.
commissioners. You're not the mayor. You are the president.
Chair.
You are
He's the chair.
chair,
You're the secretary,
president. Yeah.
And he's the vice chair. Would they be committee members or commission members? Commissioners.
Board members, commission. Okay, and everything we do now is outside of the jurisdiction of the council. And at some point, we'll need to get official bylaws. Okay. And one other question before we go any further, Mayor, and that is since I was elected secretary, the keeping of the records, are we being recorded now?
Yeah.
So I don't have to necessarily get it all exactly right now. I can come back later
Yeah,
on
exactly.
and get my notes. I just need to know if I needed to record it or
Good deal.
rely on my handwriting.
No worries.
Okay, thank you.
You saw Mr. Bell point his thumbs up out of the back.
It is
There
recorded.
you go.
Good.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so well noted. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. As chair, then we will move for the adoption of the bond and resolution.
Okay, so what we're looking at approving is a bond resolution of the Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Stonecrest authorizing inter alia the issuance of its revenue bond for the City of Stonecrest projects, Series 2020A, and its revenue bond, City of Stonecrest projects, federally taxable Series 2020B, in an original aggregate principal amount of $5,345,000.
Okay, Mr. Deputy, are we doing this as a first read, or are we actually make a motion for approval? What's for the
Yes, this will be a motion for approval.
good deal? Correct. All right. Then, board, I move that we approve the adoption of the bond resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
Probably moved in second. Discussion. Secretary.
Just wanted to make sure we had it explained to us again. You know, I need to hear it more than once, if you don't mind. Thank you so much.
So the ordinance that mayor and council read was for the intergovernmental contract backing the debt. This resolution is you issuing the debt. What is the debt? It's $2 million and change for the Sears building, 10 years at 3.56%. It's $3 million and change for the Sam's Club building at 20 years for 3.18%. And approving the intergovernmental contract between this body and mayor and council. So it's one bond resolution that does all those things.
Got it. Have it on recording.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Ms. Wall.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly. Councilman Clinton, then I'll go.
Yeah, and I'm certain we probably heard this recently. But just to be clear, so what we also are approving is the payback of the TAN money. Is that wrapped in this resolution? Or?
Yes, sir. So the resolution used to be drafted that you were issuing the bonds to buy the Sam's Club building.
Correct.
Now the purpose is to pay off the TAN.
So, okay. And that's spelled out in the resolution.
It is, sir.
Okay.
Actually, Councilman Clinton asked my question. So, yeah, that was it. Two for one. Good deal.
Question was answered.
Oh, you good? Good deal. Councilman?
I think I'm done.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary.
We got to get used to that.
I got to change that up a little bit. Yeah.
One other thing, the city general fund made earnest money deposits on both of those buildings. This financing is returning that money back to the general fund.
That is laid out as well in the resolution.
Yes, sir. Like today, we paid, I don't know, nearly $300,000 back to the general fund for the deposit for the Sam's Club.
That's right. And for the city itself also. Lovely.
Okay.
Mr. City Auditor, we good?
Another question was asked earlier, and I'm not sure what it goes here. We missed that opportunity, and that is the usage of these two buildings.
So the Sam's Club building is purely government. It's going to be your city hall, parks and recs department, any nature governmental function is at your city hall. That's the Sam's Club building. So it was done with tax exempt bonds, which has a lower interest rate of 3.18% for 20 years. The Sears Club, you know, the IRS hates tax exempt debt because the interest that you pay is exempt from federal income tax. So the IRS comes up with all these myriad of rules to try to keep you from issuing tax exempt debt for something that's going to be leased to for-profit people. And so since a tax exempt regulation by the IRS handcuffs you and what you could or could not do with the Sears Club building for this, not Sears Club, but the Sears building for economic development, we've made it a taxable bond issue. Now the IRS rules and regs will have nothing to do. You're free now to make purely business decisions, not decisions impacted by how it means for IRS tax reasons. It's 10 years at 3.56%. And so think about it, no matter what, you're going to have that thing fully paid off in 10 years. And during that 10-year period, if a for-profit entity, a Starbucks or anything wanted to lease, you can lease it to them. So it's just pure business.
We can legally collect the money, put it back in the coffers, that whole thing.
Correct.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Can I ask?
And that,
I'll
let
wait
me
till-
finish.
Sure.
And that 10-year clock starts,
March 30th.
okay? And I'm looking at some, oops, he just rolled it over. Something that started in 2030 and went to 2040. That was in reference to,
That was the City Hall project, the Sam's Club. So if you think about it, the taxable debt has a higher interest rate. I wanted to burn it all first. So all the principal, so you're borrowing $5 million,
Mhm.
but we're choosing to burn off the $2 million, 3.56% in 10 years. And then the other 3.18% is going to be burned off in the next 10 years.
makes sense.
In reference to the Sam's building, going back there just for a moment, so we can only utilize the Sam's building for governmental functions of governmental operations. Can we use any part of that Sam's building for any type of for-profit or public entities?
So the IRS will allow you to have 10% of the
Good question.
square footage
Good question.
Okay.
or 10% of the debt service come from for-profit folks and not booger yourself up.
What happens if we get a wild hair and someone comes along and says, hey, you know, we're going to buy this whole mall and we want the Sears building with it? Really now? So we say, okay, we collectively agree as council, $5 million. Or 4, we double the money, whatever happens. Any penalty on our end? No. Oh, there we go.
No money. On the Sam's Club building, if that were to happen, the IRS would force you to use the money to pay off the debt.
Got it.
But on the Sears building, because it's taxable, you're free to make business decisions.
Excellent. And I see the big sitting in the back with rolling out there. It's like I can hardly contain them in their chair. Yeah.
All righty. Mr. Mayor, there was just one other item, and Mr. Wall actually touched on it a little bit earlier with one of his responses. The amount that we will be paying for both of these buildings is approximately the amount that we are currently paying to lease this facility.
That just
We're
makes
getting-
it
yeah.
beautiful.
So it's once again, this is the deal of the century.
Got it. Excellent. Thank you, council. Really appreciate this whole particular piece of it. I think I was actually in the motion itself.
Right, I'm about to say, do we need
Okay.
to vote?
All right. Yes, Mr. Deputy.
And just to make things even nicer, all of the capital improvements that we do will be paid using SPLOST money.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
we won't be having to come into our general fund for any of this.
Just to be clear, that will be only on the Sam's building. Just to be clear, that's only on the Sam's
Correct. That would be
building.
for the Sam's building, but since the Sears is a venture and an economic development venture, more than likely the bigs are going to be working on anyone who goes in there will be doing any of the improvements themselves.
And if you were to get a police precinct in the Sears building, then you could use SPLOST money to renovate.
Lovely. All right. We are rolling like thunder. All right, so we're still in discussion mode with regards to our motion on the floor from the chair. Vice Chair, you have anything?
No, sir. I'm
All right, Ms. Secretary?
I'm just glad to have it recorded so I can play it back several
Yes, sir.
times and have the constituents listen to it.
All right, General Board Member?
I'm good.
Haven't seen that. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, passes unanimous. Thank you. I will take a motion for adjournment.
So move.
All right, all in favor?
Second.
Aye. All opposed? We're now adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Well, we moving forward.